of like a multi
Well,
more tables.
simple views, it works because in complex views, it is possible that one of the field is actually a calculated field. So there is nothing behind the scene to go to.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Okay. That makes sense. Super.
So that's why it would fail in that regard. But if there is some data in the back to go to a field, then probably would work if you have not locked the table, locked the view from updating. Okay. So let's assume that we know that we have a table called books, which has fields like ISBN, title, and retail. So if I want to create a view that would limit myself to only those three fields, because that allows me to tap into my inventory. So if I want to create a view that will let me tap into my inventory, I can just say I want to create a view called inventory as select ISBN, title, retail from books. So after I create this view, all I need to do is I need to run a select star on this view, and I don't have to constantly query select ISBN, title, retail from books. So if there is a certain query that is used a lot more, then you can always convert that into a view. And then you can query the view, and that will help you from having to create it over and over again, or write the query over and over again. Also, you can rename a field. So let's say the field is called something else in the table, but you want to hide it behind a different name. You can also do that. Maybe that name is more meaningful in the context. Maybe you want to hide the actual table field names. So for example, let me create another view called inventory 2. And let's say instead of calling it a retail, I want to call it a price. So anybody who queries inventory 2 will not see the field name retail, but will rather see a field name price. Okay. And there's a third way to also alias, and that is you can alias all fields in one shot. So for example, I want all three fields to be given a different column name. So before the as, I can start listing those names as so then those three names will be used instead of the names in the actual table. And when you run select star from inventory 3, and you should now see the names book ISBN, book title, and book price. Can I query the inventory view or inventory 2 view or inventory 3 view to answer this question?
Wouldn't you have to specify this at view creation?
No, I want to query to pull the retail amount of any book or all books that have the word poem in their title. Do I have to query the actual table books, or can I
No,
query any of the views?
You should be able to use inventory 3 because it has book title,
Mm-hmm.
inventory 2 because it has title.
Mm-hmm.
Top one again, I can't see it.
It's also has title. Exactly.
Okay, so yeah,
Exactly.
any of them that have title in it, you should be able to use.
Exactly. And all of them have retail. Now I have to be careful that if I'm querying inventory 2, I should use the field name price. If I am querying inventory 3, I should use the field names book title and book price. Okay. So I want you guys to display this information using each of the 3 views. Write it for each of the 3 views. Select the retail from each of the views through separate queries where title contains the word poem. As you start getting done, you can give me green checks. So can you guys start giving me, like, let's say, give me the query for inventory. That how would you use the inventory view to answer this question?
Select retail from inventory,
Inventory, okay.
where title like, and then in the single quotes, parentheses, poem. Yep. And then semicolon.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, because I didn't create it. That's why. Okay, but that should work. Okay. And for inventory 2, who will tell me what changes should I make to this query?
Just to the name for inventory too, because we didn't change the name like, well, it didn't make me change the name. It allowed me to use retail still.
Even though, yeah, because you aliased it price, right?
Yeah. Oh wait, no, it did this time. Okay, maybe I did it wrong. So you'd have to
It's
use the alias price.
Price, okay. And what should I do for inventory 3?
Select book underscore price from inventory 3 where book underscore title like poem.
Okay, cool. Okay. Okay, now, what is the value that you see on your end?
Just the price,
Yeah, what is it? The value?
$39.95.
39.95. Okay. We will now try to update this price to a different price, but using the view, not directly the table. So update inventory, set the retail equals to 45.99, where title like this, okay? Run this query. You get a green check on the query. It ran through successfully. Okay. After that, I want you to rerun 15, 16, and 17 one by one. Do you see 45.99? Or you still see 39.95?
$45.99.
Yep, 45.99. Okay. So this shows you that if it's a simple view, there are no calculated fields. You can easily update the actual table through the view. Okay. Now to get rid of a view, you can simply type drop view inventory. Okay, drop view inventory. And that will drop the view for you. Once you drop it, you can copy paste what you just wrote up there and recreate it. Let me know when you're done recreating the view. Okay. Now I want you to run lines 25 through 27 again. What happens? Does it gives you an error now?
Yes.
Okay. So what you can do now is replace it as create or replace view. Try with this. Now run it again.
That's pretty cool. Can you do that with tables too?
No.
Oh, really? But this makes views so much more powerful.
Okay. Let me give you a task to accomplish, okay? So I want you to create a view which will help me solve this problem.
Is this customer's YS?
No.
Orders YS. I think I can give you
Don't
the
give out.
answer.
Yeah, no. Don't give out the answer.
I wasn't going to, yeah, that was that. That's what I think.
It is orders via table, yes, but yeah.
Is anyone else having an error on the ship date? It's telling me ship date does not exist.
In the orders YS table, there is a field called ship date.
I had asked. Okay. My bad.
Hey, Saad, do we ever get a chance to actually look at our wrong answers on our midterm, the multiple choice?
Oh,
Uh,
I will turn that on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not. I thought I would have done a little bit better than I did. So I want to see what was wrong.
Okay, okay, I will turn it on.
Thank you.
See, I gave you half the answer. See? Who can fill in the blanks?
So I was just being a goofball. You're gonna create or replace view outstanding as select customer number, order date, ship date from orders YS. And then you select all from outstanding where ship date is null. This is,
Cool.
I didn't put this inside of the same thing. I did a separate select statement
That's
after.
okay. I just did it so that it's easier to read. You could write everything on one line too. Same line. Now you can query. So what's the benefit of creating this view? Now you have a view that you can query for all outstanding orders. You don't have to constantly write the select command. Now let's try updating the outstanding view. So update outstanding, set the ship date to 2023 March 31st, where order number equals to 1012. Oh, yeah. And then I want you to rerun this to make sure that order number 1012 will not be included in the list anymore because it's not null. It's because ship date is not null anymore. Yes?
Yep.
Okay. If I want to change the ship date back to null for that order number, can I do that through the view?
No, because it's no longer seen by the view.
Very good. So if I have to set it back to null, I would have to do it through the table, orders YS. So now set it back to null, and then check the view again, and 1012 will be back in the view. Okay. Now I want you to copy this whole thing that you created before, create or replace view outstanding, and paste it down below and make one modification to it. With check option, and rerun these 5 lines. Done? Okay. Now I want you to do select star from outstanding, and you will get the exact same results. Now I want you to try the update command again, the same one that you did before, exact same command. Was the update successful?
Which one where we're updating the outstanding or the order?
No, outstanding. Do you see my line 56?
Oh, sorry.
It was not
It
successful.
was not successful because with check option, make your view read only. It can't do inserts and updates anymore. Okay. Next, I want you to create a view called prices and include the following fields. What is the difference between this view in nature compared to the other views that you have created before today?
You're doing a arithmetic operation within the select statement.
Okay, so one of the fields in the view is generated. It's not there behind the scene. So that makes this view a complex view because it has a generated field. Okay. So now select star from prices. There is an ISBN number in the books table, and this is that number. I want you to look up the title and cost of this ISBN. And please tell me, what is that cost?
Wait, I can't even create.
You were not able to create the view prices?
Yeah. Oh, I spelled it wrong, that's why.
Cost is $18.75.
Okay. Now let's try to update the cost through prices. So I want to update the prices, set the cost to a higher value where ISBN is this. Did that work? Okay, yeah, because we were not trying to update the computed field. We were simply updating a field that exists. Okay. Now, considering the fields in the books table, which is select star from books. So these are the fields: ISBN, title, publication date, publisher ID, cost, retail, and category. Okay. Considering these fields, insert this new record in the books table. Maybe let me add a little space so that it's a bit readable. When you are able to successfully add the data, query the prices to see that you can see this new book. So that shows you that if the books table gets updated, in the next run, the view on the books table will reflect on the updates. Now, run this delete command. Can you delete a record in the books table from the view?
I was able to, yeah.
Yep, will be perfectly fine. Now, when you run the prices, you should not see that record anymore. Okay. Now, let's make an effort to add that record to the books table, but through the prices. But prices has limited fields. It doesn't has all the fields. It doesn't has ISBN. No, it has the prices has ISBN, title, cost, and retail. Prices does not has publication date, and prices does not has publisher ID, and doesn't has category. Right? Those are the three fields prices is missing. So let's say prices says, well, forget about that. How about I will just insert what I have. So I will insert 1000 express, 412, and the difference of 8. Can I do that?
It did not like that I did that, no.
No, it will not. It will not let you insert a value that is not backed up by anything. So 8 has no place to go. You know? Plus, this is how it's thinking. 1000 express 412 8. So 8 actually goes in the profit, but there is no field called profit in the book. So it just rejects it right away. Okay. Okay. Now let's create another table, prices, but we'll call it prices 2. And I dropped the profit field. And you can make sure that it can show you the ISBN, title, cost, and retail. Now try inserting a record through the prices because it doesn't have a calculated field. Success. Yep, because there's no calculated field. So if you run your prices 2, you should now be able to see this new record. Okay, everybody got this one?
Yep.
Do you guys want a little bit of a challenging view to create yourself? Okay. You know, we're going to make it a little bit less challenging by putting you guys in groups. And we will make sure that each group has at least 3 people. So let me move a few people around. We're going to give you guys 15 minutes. Let's say 12 minutes. Should be okay. And I will share with you the problem. This is what I want you to do. Create the view about. Or maybe just so that you guys may have some more time to discuss. Let's do 15. So create a view that displays the total balance due for each order placed by a customer. So you will be displaying the customer information, the order number for that customer, and the total balance for that order. Okay. Okay. I was disconnected from Zoom.
Really?
Yeah. And then I was, when you guys were joining back in that due process, somehow my Zoom crashed. You guys didn't even feel like, yeah, I feel that, yeah, I mean.
That's crazy though. I didn't even notice.
Okay, so Jessica, Josh, Victor, did you guys get it?
I'm gonna be honest, not quite. I feel
Okay,
like we're, I don't know. It's no.
okay. It was too easy for me to crack that. That's fine. Amka, Jack, and Robert.
No, we didn't get it.
Okay, again, it was too easy for you guys too. Okay. Cole, Devin, and Tony.
Nope. I think I got pretty far.
You get okay. Greg, Jake, and Luke.
Just making sure we only needed the order numbers and the balance due, right?
You needed the customer number, the order number, and the total of amount due.
Oh, okay. We got the order number and balance due to work.
Yeah, I didn't get the
but-
customer number.
Okay, cool. So let's first figure out, in order to do this, how many tables do we need? Tables.
Three
Three tables.
at least. Yeah, I think so. I think three.
Okay. Okay, what tables?
Order sys,
Okay,
order items,
okay,
and books.
and bugs. You don't need customer number? Customer's table,
It's well, no, because customer number is in the order sys table.
but it's not there uniquely.
Oh, so then customer's
Oh.
table too.
Yes. Okay. So you will select from the customers table the customer number, from the orders YS table the order number, and you will need the sum of what?
Quantity.
Quantity and times cost.
We pay retail, not cost.
Oh, yeah, retail.
Yeah. Okay. So the tables are that we have customers, YS, inner join, orders YS on, customers YS dot, customer number equals to orders YS dot, customer number. Inner join order items on orders YS dot order number equals to order items dot order number. Inner join books on books dot ISBN equals to order items dot ISBN. Right? So far, so good. Group by these two fields. And that's it. Okay. Now I need to create or replace view. So I'll write create or replace view balance due as. So select star from balance due. Simple enough, right?
So I did it a little bit differently. I just did like the alias, so like O dot customer number, and
That's
I
fine.
didn't do the calculation in the select statement up there. I did a longer select statement for the second one, but I just
But-
wanted to make the structure of it right.
But we
Is that
had
okay?
to display the calculations. That's why it has to be in the topmost select. Because we have to display the amount due for each each order.
Yeah, I know I did. So select customer, order number, item number, quantity retail, and then quantity times
Oh.
retail is balance due from balance due, which
Okay,
is the view name.
okay. I see what I see what you're saying. Okay.
Is that the same thing though?
Well, you are now, basically you will be doing more work. You're
Okay.
putting more work on your SQL developer because you did not create the view with all those calculations with it.
My output looks a little different from yours, and I'm
Oh, no,
not.
no, this is not the output for this
Oh, oh,
query.
oh.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
for
I was
one
gonna
of the,
say,
no, yeah.
Seeing the title Revenge of Mickey reminds me of what's going on in Florida right now.
What's going on in Florida?
So Ron DeSantis created
Oh,
a board to control Walt Disney World, but
Yep.
before the old board left, they pretty much left it in perpetuity until King Charles's last descendant, 21
Mhm.
years after his last descendant dies.
Yep. So essentially, like, Disney owned all this property where people were living, like residential property,
Hmm.
and they didn't pay taxes on it. But then Disney was in charge of all the utilities and garbage pickup and this and that, like essentially running this property where these people lived. And then DeSantis came in and was all angry because Disney didn't align with his political views, and so he created he stripped away these laws that were in place and created this committee, like Greg said, to oversee certain parts of Disney. But yeah, like Greg said, before this committee that got dissolved went away, they had a public forum the day before they were, quote unquote, fired, and made all of these changes so that now DeSantis has, like, the board that he appointed to them has no power whatsoever. And yeah, like Greg said, it's said in the clause that this is to go forth until 21 years after King Charles whatever's last descendant passes away.
Okay, so Okay, so I mean, the actual law that Disney wrote was like that.
Yeah, so the committee
Committee
that
wrote,
the
okay.
committee that was overseeing whatever with Disney
Oh.
wrote that before they were dissolved, and then this new committee of 5 Republicans that DeSantis brought in essentially have their hands tied now because
Oh, okay,
anything-
because of that law. Okay, because okay, so they were looking at opportunity to make money, which now they can't. So they're mad about it.
I don't know if they were trying to make money or just a political gambit, but they had something in mind. Yes, and now they cannot do that because the old committee just passed all these ridiculous things before they
Yeah.
left.
It's money game,
This-
man. It's money game.
Disney said out loud that they did not like the "Don't Say Gay" bills that DeSantis was passing, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
it.
sparked this off.
Okay. Anyway.
I did just read that today, though, Greg. That's interesting. Real quick, did you guys also see that we found 6 new galaxies that are much, much older than we expected them to be? The
Yeah.
new telescope that we have in space. I don't remember what's called, but the one that
Webb.
replaced the Hubble telescope,
Webb.
the Webb telescope. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have now discovered 6 new galaxies with essentially six burning stars, whatever the sun is called, I forget, and they are much, much, much older than we expected them to be. And it's really throwing a wrench into like almost parallel universe type things. That's
So-
what people are theorizing.
In the same I mean, like these galaxies are within our what you may call it.
Cosmos.
No. In our local cluster.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
But it's enough for us to see them. We're seeing them in the past because of the way imaging through space works, but
Mhm.
yeah, they're much bigger, they're much further along than any other galaxy that we or solar system that we have seen before, and we expected them to be much younger. So they're theorizing that those must have been made shortly after the Big Bang, which obviously, created our universe. So,
Okay, yeah.
or at least theorize whatever you believe.
Mhm.
Don't cancel me.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, okay.
I thought it was interesting though. Like, I love space. I'm all about it.
Because these galaxies are placed in local clusters, and local clusters are placed in superclusters, and known universe is divided into superclusters. So there are billions of galaxies in our local cluster, and our local cluster is one of the millions of local clusters in our supercluster, and our supercluster is one of the millions of superclusters in the known universe.
And
So-
we are all
Meanwhile-
stardust.
And meanwhile, I'm struggling with RPG.
Yeah, right.
Seems so small in comparison.
So yeah, I mean, like that, whenever I think about it, that shows how no value we have. We are not even null.
No, we aren't. We're less than null. I always think back to, you ever see the movie Interstellar?
Yep. I think
That's
so.
the one with McConaughey, right?
I do
Yeah,
not
that's one with McConaughey.
don't remember names.
Oh, it's okay. There's that scene where they go on the planet with all the water and they find the dead astronaut, but they're like, based on the way that time works, he would have only died like 10 minutes before they got there. And then on top of that, it had been like 50 years for the dude they left back on the space station. Like, that's just nuts to think of how time works that way.
Because time is very relative.
It is extremely.
Yeah, so yeah, you can, I mean, like if you can, I mean, like the person who goes out in the outer space and comes back ages
Right.
less than the person on the ground.
Yep.
But yeah, so anyway,
Not by a ton, but yes.
page 275 through page number 289. Okay, these are some examples in your books. I just wanted to mention that to you before we move on to our next topic. So pages 275 through 289 in your book talks about views. And then our next topic is indexes, which is pages 289 through page 296 of your book. Okay, so we are currently doing chapter 10 of your book. I thought I will mention that to you guys before we move on to indexes. Index pretty much allows you to find your records faster. And whenever you create a primary key, you automatically get an indexed field. But if you want to create more indexes other than the primary key, you should be able to do that using create index command. The reason you want to create index other than the primary key is because there are certain fields that are queried more than the primary key fields. Like how often do you query your book by ISBN? You mostly query them by titles. So it would make sense to promote title to an index field. At the same time, we got to be careful not to convert too many fields into index fields because it makes it even slower to find data if there are too many indexes on a table. It's pretty much like having too many indexes on a book. I once worked with a book with multiple indexes, and the only reason was because of the nature of the book that there was index by topic and then there was index by trade. So I could just, if I want to see only welding problems, it just had one index where it says, okay, if you are interested in welding only problems, these are the pages where the welding problems are. So it was like indexed by trades and indexed by topics. So it just made sense for that book to have multiple indexes. So similarly, we will be creating an index through a create index command. Index will have a name, just like any other objects. On, and then you choose the table on which you are creating the index and the field on which you are creating the index. So if the last name field is queried more, it wouldn't hurt to create an index on the last name field. Also, if you are querying combination of fields, then you can actually index the combination. That this index will only kick in if you are searching last and first name, both of them in the same query. Similarly, you can also index calculations. So if I am finding profits for my books a lot of times, then it would make sense for me to create a profit index on books table where I'll say anytime we do retail minus cost, the calculation will be indexed. And if you want to drop an index, you do drop index followed by the index name. Okay, everybody got this? Then there are a few pages in the book that I want you to read. First of all, I want you to read pages 273 and 274. And let me put the pages in the chat. That'll make it easier for everybody. Pages 273, 274. So I will clear your participation. So you let me know when you're done reading. Okay, so all of you are done reading with this, and now let's take a break, and after the break, we will talk about identity columns. What are identity columns? Identity columns are those items that allow you to auto-number your fields. There are some topics that are not in your book that I want to talk about, so that's why I will not be referring to any chapters in the book. So we want to talk about index. We talked about index, but we'll talk about identity columns. We also want to talk about temporary tables, the tables that you can create in memory. They are created on the fly, and then you can use them. We also want to talk about tables that can be created for a session. You know, I mean, like temporary tables can be created only for one query, or they could be created for an entire user session. You cannot share them with other users, but you can just populate data in memory, and then you can constantly query that, which is much faster than querying a disk. So we'll talk about that as well. So those will be some of the main topics we'll talk about. And if time permits, we will then also dive into stored procedures. Okay? Some interesting topics, I think. So I will see you guys at 7:40. Identity columns. So the two concepts we learned earlier, one was views, the other one was index, and now we are going to our third concept for today, identity columns. As I told you, that identity columns allow you to auto-number a field. Once a field is auto-numbered, then you don't even have to add value for that field because it's automatically generated. And that's what we will see, how it automatically generates these values. So let's first create a table. We'll call this one invoice data. And we will create an auto-numbered field called sequence number. It will be integer, not null. Now here comes the auto generation part. Generated always as identity. Start with 1. Increment by 1. No cycle means once you reach the max, don't cycle back. And always maintain the order. So that's auto-numbered field. Then ISBN, variable character, 10, cost, decimal, 5,2, and that creates a table. Again, you know, it's just a table creation. It's just like we are adding something to our table creation concepts, which is an auto-numbered field. Once you create the table is when we will see how you use it when you're adding data. So insert commands will let us add the data, and select all command will let us see the data that we have already inserted. So that's why I'm writing it ahead of time, so that you can just keep going back to line 118 and keep running it every time we insert a record for you to see that the record has actually gone through and what value it has.
Can I go back and say I'm not excited about learning?
Why?
Too late.
That is a lot in one line.
One way to insert is insert into invoice data values, and you can say default means whatever sequence is going on, just continue with that sequence. I will only provide you the values for ISBN number and supposedly maybe a cost. And that will insert the record. And after you're done inserting the record, rerun line 118 or run line 118 to make sure that the record went through. Another way to insert into invoice data is you list the fields that you are interested in filling. And all the others will automatically be getting, like the first field will automatically get its value. So after you insert, you can actually insert multiple records at in one shot as well. So that's what we did here. We inserted 2 records. Then you rerun line 118 to see how it works. Yep, give me a green check when you're done. And then we will then move on to our next topic, which is about temporary tables. Temporary tables. So temporary tables can be generated in the from clause if they are only for one time. They are generated and they produce an output and you work with it. Okay, let me give you one example and then we will generate a temporary table. Can you tell me the ISBN and the cost of the most expensive book? Can you write a query to do that? I want to know the ISBN and cost of the most expensive book. Can you write that query on your own? And then once you find that, let me know in the chat. You can paste your query in the chat.
did you want an answer?
Yeah, put it in the chat. This should be an open knowledge because we have done this before. Yeah, you first find the maximum cost in the inner query. You return that cost to the outer query, and then you display the ISBN and cost. Right? No big deal. Now, I want you to find me. I want to know the ISBN and cost of the second and third most expensive books. Oh, Jessica, you have the answer? Okay, let's hear.
No, no, that was from
I
the
know,
previous.
I'm kidding.
I was like, no, no,
No,
no.
no. This is where the SQL that you have learned this far fails. There's no way you can do that. That the SQL that you've learned so far, you can't do it. So what you can do now is we can create a temporary table. In that temporary table, we can display all the records in the order of their cost, for example, or retail, whatever. And then I can pick the second and the third item from the top. Okay? And that's where my temporary tables will be extremely helpful. So I want to select the ISBN and the cost from where that I will generate. Okay, so this is where I will be creating my temporary table. And I want the temporary table results to be order by cost. So I can pick the second and the third most expensive item. Now I want to select from books. I'll call it B. So I want to select all the records or all the fields of the B. This is something I think this is new for you guys too. Writing alias dot period dot asterisks. That means I want to select all the fields. Besides that, each field, each record that I select, I want to give it a row number. That's a built-in function. And this row number will be based on order by cost in the descending order. That's the only way I can align the list most expensive to least expensive. And I will call this temporary column top cost. Okay. So far, I mean, I'm not done yet. Okay. Now,
We still have to do. All right, sorry.
top cost includes row numbers for every row that got selected. So first, I organize all the rows in the chronological order of the most expensive to least expensive because of line 133. And within that result set, every row is given a number. So the top one is 1, the second one is 2, the third one is 3, and so on and so forth. And who holds those numberings? Who holds the numberings?
Top cost.
Top cost. So now I can say from this generated table, I want to select all those records where top cost is between 2 and 3. So that will give me the second and the third most expensive book. I wrote this query a few years ago when there was an interview question of an Oracle database programmer. And, you know, back in the Oracle days, I knew the solution to that problem, but I wanted to find the equivalent solution in DB2. So the question was, is an interview hands-on question, that I want to know the top 5 performing salespeople in
Wait,
my.
I get an error.
Oh, you're getting an error here.
We're on the top coast.
On the top cost.
Yeah, top
Oh, hold a second.
coast.
Oh, I lost my database connection. Okay. Not connected. Oh, hold on a second. Did I miss? Oh, no. Hold on a second. What did I miss? Select everything. A row number. Over. Order by cost. Books B. Oh, forgot to alias the table. Yeah, I forgot to alias the table. That's probably that's it. Yep, that's it. Yeah. So the question the Oracle interview had was, give me the top 5 salesperson. So one of my students came to me and asked me that, and I'm like, yeah, that's how you do it in Oracle. And I said, okay, let me find the DB2 solution for the same problem, and that's when I wrote this.
Very cool. That's very helpful.
It's easier to figure out the top, but you know, to go into other numberings, that's the challenge. And then of course, if I can always create this on a where clause, for example, I can set a criteria that I want to only select the second and the third most expensive book by cost, only for those books where cost is less than 20. So I can set a different criteria too. So now it will only give me the second and the third most expensive books, which are less than, all of the books are less than 20. So in that case, right now it is 37 and 47.25. Now it is 17.85 and 19. Everybody got this? Okay. Still missing Amka and Robert and Victor. Oh, okay, cool. Now let's go to global temporary tables. Global temporary table. So the global temporary table is a temporary table that lasts for the whole session. That means I logged in, and until I log out, I can use it, but I cannot share it. It is on a single thread, but the thread is my process, is part of my process. So you have to declare it as a global temporary table. So unlike an ordinary table that physically exists on the disk, the global temporary table is defined in the DB2 catalog. It is not defined, in the DB2 catalog. So it's not shareable with other users. It only exists in memory for the duration of the thread, which is your session. So this is how you create it. Declare global temporary table session dot, let's say, GTC books 1. From Java and PHP programming, you guys already know what are sessions. Sessions are whenever you establish a connection with the server, it gives you a unique session ID. As long as you don't log out or your session doesn't times out, the server remembers you from click to click, page to page, from apps to apps, because it has given you that unique ID that only you have at that point in time among all the users current on the server. So that's what's assigned to that session ID's memory. That's where this temporary table resides. Okay, now let's create some fields in it. Category field. So basically you are telling the database engine to comment the changes, whatever, so that it is reserved for the whole session duration and not to expire it after one use. So when you are doing a select star from, you got to use session dot, the name of the table, so that it knows that this is coming from the session. Okay, right now it's empty. There's nothing in the table. But the reason I said on commit preserve rows, because you can actually add data to it and treat it like a table. Like I can say insert into session.gtc books 1, select category, average cost, number of books from books, group by category. So I'm moving all the categories along with their average cost and the total number of books in that category into this table. And then I got to issue a commit command so that all this data actually gets transferred into this table. And then I will do select star to make sure that it did receive all the data. 1 second. Insert into, oops. Hold on a second. Insert into. What is it? What am I missing?
Do you need an as before the select? Like insert into session.gtc books 1 and then as and then the select?
It says null values are not allowed in column or variable category. Oh, I don't know. It does has the data.
Well, I can't even declare. I don't know what I'm missing.
You mean like your lines 144 through 147?
Yeah.
What is, can you share your screen?
Sure.
Declare global temporary table category on commit reserve rows. Okay, select lines 137 through 139. What does it do? Oh, it says it already exists. That means it did created it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Can you run line 141? Okay, yeah.
Well, I don't remember that I run this already. So
Okay. Now I can actually say I want to know the count of the records from session.gtc books 1. So it tells me that there are a total of 8 records, and I just can alias it as count books. Okay, everybody got this? Let me copy these 4 lines and paste them here. Declare global temporary table session called GTC Books 2. This time, instead of declaring my own fields, I will say, I want to create like a books table, including the column defaults. If there are any column defaults, also include them. With replace. On commit, preserve rows. Okay. Okay, so I mean, like, think about it. I was able to create a replica of an existing table on the fly. Pretty powerful stuff. Now, let me create another variation of this. We're going to call this one number 3 as I want to select 3 fields: ISBN, cost, category, from books, and definition only. No defaults. And here I get all 3 of these fields. Now, if I want to push data in it, I can run an insert into session.gtc books 3, select ISBN, cost, category, from books. All the data transferred, all 15 rows, and here I am. Just in 2 queries, I was able to create a temporary table in memory and pushed all the data in it. So now when I query this temporary table, I'm not bothering the disk, which is slower. It's all in memory database. Let me know when you guys are done with this. Let me clear the previous feedbacks. That way, you don't have mixed feedbacks. Okay. With that, we will now move on to stored procedures. Does anybody over here knows what is a stored procedure? No? Okay. Stored procedure is an object. It is a program written in a programming language, and it is write once and call a million times kind of a deal. So it is basically, if you have a task that you do often, instead of you having to sit there and write those statements every time you need the tasks to be done, you could rather create a stored procedure, back all those instructions inside the stored procedure, save it as an object, and then you simply call it anytime you need it. Also, stored procedures can take parameters, so you can pass parameters if you want to customize your stored procedures. Also, it lessens the overhead. For example, if you are sending 15 queries from client to the server back and forth, instead of doing that, you can make one call from the client to the stored procedure and put all 15 of those queries inside the stored procedure. And since stored procedure and all those queries will run local, there will be no overhead in communication over the network. When the stored procedure is done, it will just send you one response. So it is easier on the network traffic. It limits the number of communications that can happen between client and server. Plus, it helps programmer write the tasks once and simply maybe maintain them or use them as they need. Does that make sense? So stored procedures are objects. Stored procedures are not written in SQL. Stored procedures are not written in SQL. They use SQL, but they're not SQL. And why do you think I'm saying that? They're written in SQL, but they're not SQL. What kind of language is SQL? Don't tell me query language.
A structured language?
Nah.
Oh, don't say nah, because it's true, just not the answer you're looking for.
Yeah, but it doesn't categorize it as, I mean, like, it is not its language categorization.
Okay.
Okay. Structured query is that language, but it's not its categorization. Like HTML's categorization would be.
Is it object oriented?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
No,
Fourth generation.
SQL is a non-procedural language. That means everything has to be stated in one command, one instruction. That instruction could be multi-line, but whenever you communicate with the database, it has to be one statement. And that statement has to be complete in its entirety. Otherwise, database doesn't understand it. So it doesn't give you room for writing procedures. There are no loops, there are no if conditions, there are no variables, there are no, I mean, like, it's not a multi-instruction language. That's why it's called non-procedural. So stored procedures are written in a procedural language. That's why I said they're not SQL, but they're written in SQL, means they follow SQL keywords, SQL syntax. They can incorporate SQL statements, but on top of that, they add a programming layer. That's why all database vendors have their own versions of stored procedures. If you go to Microsoft, they call it TSQL. Have you heard of that? TSQL? Transaction SQL. Because stored procedures are basically a transaction processing language. How do you define a transaction? What is a transaction? Now, do not use the word money in your answer.
An exchange.
Yeah, it's a synonym. I'm gonna explain it. What is a transaction? How would you define the word transaction? Stop Googling, man. Come on. I need your answer. Transaction is a series of steps that are considered a single unit of work. Write it down someplace, remember it, you will need it in your work life. Series of steps considered to be a single unit of work. Now you can bring in examples. Now we can bring in a money example. I want to transfer money. So X amount of dollars should leave my account. X amount of dollars should be received by the other party. When both of these steps happen, the transaction is completed. If the first step happens, the second one fails, a rollback. So it's a series of steps, but considered as a single unit of work. Means either everything will work or nothing works. There is no partial working in transaction. When you're downloading a file, the file needs to be downloaded completely. If it fails in the middle, nothing happens. So stored procedures are a good way for transaction processing because they can literally lock your instructions and say, you know, either everything will work or nothing will work. They don't behave like that all the time, but they can behave like that. Okay. Now, each one of you write the definition of what is transaction in the chat. We will revisit this, but I want you to write it down at least once. Transactions often work on ACID properties, where ACID stands for atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Atomicity means a single unit of work. That's what it means. A single unit of work. Series of steps considered to be a single unit of work. That is called atomicity. And you will hear that word atomic a lot in transaction processing and even in stored procedures. Atomic. Consistency means whatever happens, equivalent should happen elsewhere. So it's like balancing an equation. Consistency. Isolation. If all of us try to access the same resource as a transaction, but each one of us is doing a separate transaction, then each one of us should be treated like I'm the only one getting served. So each one of us runs in isolation. And durability means in case of a failure, there should be a backup mechanism. How should the system react in terms of big failure? And there shouldn't be data corruption. Okay. Now, before we dive into writing our stored procedures, I want you to create these two tables. A test message table and a procedure logs table. By the way, you guys remember that next week is your final exam, right?
But I remember you talking about that because the week we were supposed to do it, you have to be somewhere, correct?
Yes, I have. Yeah, so I have to be somewhere next week. So that's why I'm putting the final exam on the 6th. And then, but we will still continue to meet on 13th and 20th. So final exam will be available to you guys from 6th through the 13th. And we will meet on 13th and 20th. So the topics that we will cover on 13th and 20th will not be on the final. Okay, these are the two tables that we will be using in our stored procedures, but stored procedures are created like this. Create procedure, oops, and then you write the name of the procedure. For example, pass a message. Just like control language, we have labels here. And then you can end your labels. We can pass parameters to the stored procedure, and that's what these parentheses are for. But when I'm passing a parameter to a stored procedure, the parameters can be either passed as in parameters or out parameters. In parameters are that the stored procedure can only receive those values, and out parameters are your return values. And since you can have many out parameters, you can return multiple values back to the caller, which is a little bit different from Java or C#, where you can only return a single value. So in message, variable character 100. So what am I doing? I will be simply inserting this data. I will be, as the data arrive, I will be inserting this data in my test message table. Just a sample, simple stored procedure, just to show you guys that stored procedures have names, can take parameters, and can use those parameters to talk to database tables. So I'm basically passing a value that is held inside a variable. I'm passing that into a database table. Let me know when you guys are done creating the stored procedure. Then I will show you how you can run the stored procedure. So you basically type the call command, followed by the name of the stored procedure, followed by whatever value you want to pass. Once you're done with the call, you want to maybe check the test message table to see if it has received the data. And that will be a check for you to see that the program compiled successfully as a message should go inside the table. Okay, everybody got it working? So you called it and you checked the table. And the data that we pass, which is program compiled successfully, should exist as a record entry in the table test message. We'll wait for the remaining people to give me an okay before we move on to our next storage procedure. Okay, so we are waiting for Victor. Okay, Victor also got it. Okay. Now let's create another stored procedure here. We're going to create a procedure and the procedure will be called. And then I'll create the caller procedure who will be calling this procedure. So that's why I'm calling this one called procedure. It will receive two parameters, in parameter, which will be a message of type variable character, and an out parameter, which is what the value will be going back to the caller. So the message parameter, just like the previous program, is going into test message. And now I will teach you how you can change the value of a variable, because reply is the other variable. If you guys remember in pseudocode writing, you used to use a command on every line. What was the command that you used in pseudocode to change the value of the variable? Are you saying something, Josh? I can't hear you.
The equal
Ah.
sign.
Double factor.
The keyword that you would use at the beginning of the pseudocode line in which you would do the assignment.
Isn't it just probably wrong? Isn't it change variable?
No,
Oh,
that's
for
control language.
yeah, exactly.
Pseudo,
I think Cole put it in.
no, that's not correct either.
Update?
No.
No.
Set. So this is just a called stored procedure. So don't call it, because I will be calling it through another stored procedure. So just create this stored procedure.
Did you mean to have two in parentheses after current date?
Oh, my bad. Thank you. And I had to convert the current date into a character to concatenate. It doesn't automatically converts. So now I will start creating the caller procedure. The caller procedure will receive one parameter. Caller. So first of all, the caller procedure will declare a local variable. And to declare a local variable, you use a keyword declare, name of a variable that you are declaring, and its size. Then you can call the other stored procedure, which is called, and pass the two variables, message and log value to it. Upon the end of the call, message will not return anything, but log val will actually hold the value, which is inside reply in the called, because they are pass by reference linked. Then you will insert into procedure logs the value of log val. You will call only the caller stored procedure after you're done creating it. And you may pass a message like new job queue. After that, check the values in both tables, the test message table, as well as procedure logs table.
I'm getting an error when I try and create the caller procedure. It doesn't like the call called on the inside.
Did you
Same.
did you created this already or no?
Yeah, I did.
You did.
So did you have the semicolon after the varchar for log val?
Oh, I missed that. My bad.
Oh,
Thank you.
that's what.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm still getting an error for some reason.
In caller or called?
The caller.
The called one or the caller one? Which procedure?
Oh, okay, I see what I messed up in. Gotcha.
Okay. We're missing Josh, Robert, and Victor, and Jack. Clear. Okay. Victor, is everything okay?
Yes, sir, I'm done.
Okay, cool, awesome. Now let's create another table and we will work with numbers. So create this table called numbers table. Create procedure called nums. We'll take 3 parameters. Two in and 1 out. It simply sets the result num1 plus num2. Okay. Then we will create its caller. So first you will create this one. Then I will create its caller. Caller stored procedure for call nums. Wow. Mr. Trump is in bad shape.
Oh yeah, did he get arrested today?
Indicted, and DeSantis is saying he won't go ahead and extradite him.
Oh, of course not. Why would he?
Wow. On over 30 counts
Wow.
related to business frauds.
Like I don't care what political ideologies you have or whatever side you're on, but the fact, I mean, I know that election, like I feel like our past several elections have been fairly, or at least our last 2 elections have been a crap sandwich versus a crap sandwich, but I'm not sure why so many people flock towards him. I just don't get the appeal.
No idea. Sometimes,
Uh,
sometimes I feel like when, people are upset about a few things in their life, they look at people who affirm
Sure,
them that,
sure.
yeah, this is wrong. This is wrong. And they're like, yeah, you're the right guy.
You know what the best way of figuring that out is and I've noticed this every time I bring up Biden with the student debt relief, it's really funny to see people sort of squirm and be like, well, I understand why you want it, but this, and this is why you shouldn't get it. You know, it's kind of funny to watch that happen because I've seen it several times. And I agree. I mean, it's fine. I'm, hoping for the best and preparing for the worst, but,
Yeah, it's just like,
it's just funny to see people say like understand why you want it, but then disagree with it at the exact same time, and it's all within the same sentence.
yep.
It's just kind of funny.
Could I say the call nums procedure real quick?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, like, there isn't a presidential candidate that people agree with 100%. So, it's just like
Nope.
people choose the one that they agree the
That'll never
most with.
happen.
Yeah, it just
I mean, that might have happened 20 years ago, maybe, but now that'll never ever happen. I think we've turned a corner.
there's so many issues that you can't be agreeing with the presidential candidate in all
No.
issues.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
That's impossible.
it's impossible, right? So,
Hey, Saad,
uh-huh.
I'm just noticing something that's gonna be an error. On line 227, you don't have a semicolon.
Oh, thank you.
I just wish we had an actual, like, more than two-party system. Like, I feel like that would.
We
Sure.
do. We do.
I
Well,
mean,
I know,
we technically do, but we don't treat it like it.
Yeah.
Right. I feel like people don't want to throw their vote away, so they're like, well, pick your poison. And it's like, I wish, those other candidates got the same kind of, I guess, platforms. You know what I mean?
And you know
Unfair
what?
opinion, but if we have a minimum age for presidency, I think we should have a maximum age for presidency. Same thing going with voting. It's a controversial statement, but we do have a minimum voting age. Maybe there should be a maximum voting age. If you
So-
only have X amount of years left on this planet, why are you making decisions for the rest of us that have the rest of our lives?
So since we're
So,
making
no, but
Well,
There's
life is
maybe-
unpredictable. Nobody knows.
that's true. Life is unpredictable.
since we're making policy changes, I think that every like senator or people in the House, like all of those people,
That-
they should be able to
Yes,
make the median state income for their state. The median
100%.
income.
They should.
I-
Yep, they should make medium income. They should also have term dates. It is
Oh.
ridiculous that Congress can be in there for so long.
I also like the ranked choice voting where you go ahead and number the candidates. So
Mm,
like if like your first choice gets knocked out, it starts going towards other people, and that actually would be more fair.
See, I always wondered why, and I'm sure there's flaws to this logic, but especially if we're going more state rule and not federal rule, why can't we have several quarterly voting periods where we vote on, as a state, political items? We vote on gay marriage, we vote on marijuana legalization, we vote on this, we vote on that, and we leave it up to the people and let the popular vote take it. What happened to just letting we the people, we want this, we should get this, whether the government thinks it's a good idea or not, we want it.
Control.
It is
They want to
control.
keep the
Mhm.
control of the people. Oh,
Yeah.
by the way, next Tuesday, voting for Supreme Court, Wisconsin Supreme Court judge.
Yep.
Very important
Yeah.
election.
Yeah.
Let me just go to Alaska where, I I almost said don't tread on me, and I hate that statement, but no step on snake. No step on snake, please. And I'll just go to Alaska and just do me. I don't know.
Oh, there are only two people to bother there, maybe three. We have bears, we have wolves,
A whole lot of
and,
moose.
penguins.
Don't forget about the Eagles.
Yeah.
Eagles are up there like seagulls.
Ah. Oh, you probably are you missing a semicolon on that line, Emka? I was missing semicolon.
No, I'm not.
You fixed that?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the error? What does the first line of the error says?
Name RST specified in procedure.
Oh, check your line 224. You might have copy pasted all three parameters. We only need two
The
parameters.
parameters different.
Yeah, because the second one received 2 in and 1 out. The first one only has 2 ins. So we are making a call and passing 2 numbers. And then the call sum function adds another variable to the list and sends it over to the call nums. The call nums then adds the 2 numbers and puts it in that third parameter we passed, and it's a pass by reference. So whatever changes the RST gets in the call nums, they're also reported in call sum. And then we use that to insert the value in numbers table. So I did 3 successive calls with both positive numbers, both negative numbers, a mixed numbers for you to
I'm getting an
see
error on the call.
on the call. Okay, so your procedure got created successfully?
Yeah.
Both of them? Okay. Now call sum. What is the error that you're getting?
This the ITPA type and not found.
That means if it's saying what not found it's saying?
I don't know. It says type and
Go ahead, share your screen. Let me have a look at it. Oh, it's saying that call. Okay, you call both your procedures call num.
oh, this one. This one's supposed to be some.
That should be sum, right? Okay. Now scroll up. Call nums. Oh, line 218. It is call num, singular, 218.
This one.
Yeah, to num. Okay. Oh, no, that will error out. On line 214, type create or replace procedure. Because you already created it. Create or replace. Okay, now try that. Okay, now try these 3 calls. Okay, now you should do select star from numbers table on numbers underscore table. Leave the space on both sides of asterisks. Okay. Cool.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Okay, next create a salary table with 1 field. Then create a stored procedure to accept 2 parameters, hours and rate. I don't understand that, Tony. SCID?
I didn't mean to put that. That was an accident.
Oh. Okay. Create a stored procedure, two parameters, two in parameters, hours and rate. Type decimal, size 4, 2. Stored procedure declares a variable salary of type decimal, size 8, 2. Stored procedure calculates salary by multiplying rate and hour, then inserts the salary in the salary tab table. Okay. So do this on yourself and then call the stored procedure and then check the table salary tab. Let me clear your previous feedbacks.
Professor, I gotta get going for the night. I hope you have a
Okay.
good rest of your night.
Okay, before you go, listen to this carefully. As I already told you, that next week, Thursday, will be your, I will be releasing your final exam, which is due by the April 13th. And the hands-on part, depending on how far we go tonight, because hands-on part, the last two questions are stored procedures. If I think we are not there to you to solve those two questions, I will give an extra week for the hands-on last two questions, and you can do the first 8.
Very good.
Okay. And are we not meeting next week?
No, we're not meeting on the 6th.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you.
Okay?
Yep. Have a good night.
You too. So look for that due date for the second part, but first part's due date will be the 13th.
I'll make sure to rewatch the
Okay.
recording.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, so how many people got this one done so far? Only one person? 2 people? Still 3 people got it now? Okay. Four, okay. Let me share this with you guys. So we created a procedure. We'll create a procedure called salary process with 2 parameters, as I asked, hours and rate. Then we declare salary as a local variable. We multiply the hours and rate, and we store that in salary, and then we insert that in the table salary. Then we call the stored procedure, and then we check the salary table. Okay, cool. So for those of you who are still in the process of coding, let me know when you're done, or if you want me to scroll up or down. Okay, so we're waiting for Amka and Victor. Okay.
Can you scroll up a little bit?
Yes.
I'm getting an error when I call it.
But your procedure is getting created, only in the call you're getting the error?
Yeah.
Okay, let's, can you share your
Wait,
screen?
hold on, let me see.
Can you scroll up a little bit for me in the error message? Okay. Salary process not found.
Line 232, after the first decimal, shouldn't there be a comma?
After 4, 2, comma. Yes. Now select lines. Yep. And run it. Cool. Now run, call it. Okay. Now scroll up. Okay. Salary tab, type file not found. Oh, did you run line 229? Can you run line 229? Okay. Okay, now run line 240. Okay, now run line 242. Cool.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay. How about you, Victor?
I'm also having an error.
Okay, would you like to share your screen?
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, can I see the very first line of your error message, please? Okay. It says file not. Okay, can you scroll up a little bit? No, not here, in the source code. Okay. Okay, can you run line 203? Maybe you did not run line 203. Okay, now try calling.
This one?
Yep. Okay, now running. Oh, can you fix, hold on a second. Can you fix the word from on line 220?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now run it. Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So guys, you know what? We'll stop here today. In 2 weeks, we'll continue from here. we still have a lot to do in stored procedures. So we will continue to work on stored procedure. Most probably on the 13th, we will be working on stored procedures only because there are still a lot to be done in stored procedures. So what I will do is in the hands-on part, I will keep it open for 2 weeks. You can do all the parts of the hands-on that are non-stored procedure related, and all the stored procedure related, you can do it a week after. Or let me do this to be on the safe side. I will leave both exams open for from 6th through 20th. That way, you know, you'll have more time and you can go back and forth. Okay.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. So for this week, I'm not giving you any new assignment, but you have 2 quizzes. One is the quiz on indexes and views, and the other quiz is on stored procedures. So you have 2 quizzes, and that's the only thing. So when we meet back on the 13th, then I will give you the stored procedure assignments. Okay.
Real quick, Saad, I've already turned in assignment 6 and 7. But can you turn in assignment 7 because I mislabeled it as assignment 6. It's the right content, but all the labels on it are wrong.
Hold on a second. Let me go to assignment 7. Oh, okay. The stored procedures one. Okay.
Yeah. So for some reason I did the right assignment, but I just labeled it all wrong.
Okay.
So
I cleared your assignment 7. And
all right,
also,
thank you.
Also, can you check your midterm to see if you can view?
Oh yeah, let me check.
Yeah, because I have those options enabled. And midterm is due by midnight tonight. So anybody who is still in the process of completing the midterm, I see that a couple people still need to complete the midterm.
No, Saad, it still will not let me. When I click on view past, past whatever, it just brings up the instructions, pretty much the instructions and the stuff above it.
Okay, can you stay after class a little bit?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So for those of you still working the midterm, please make sure that you turn it in. It's due in next 3 hours. And I'm a little worried about those who have not started. Anyway. Yeah, that's concerning.
So is assignment 6 gonna get pushed to next week, dude?
Yeah.
Because
Assignment number 6. Hold on a second. Assignment number 6. Yes, I will change. You're right. I should change the due date for assignment 6. That should be the only assignment that you guys will have.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Okay, so that takes care of that. Okay, so rest of you are free to go. And let me see what's going on.
Have a good night.
You too. Take care. Bye. Good night. Okay, Jack, let me check. Okay, hold on a second. Jack, I have both parts from you. Yep. Good night.
Oh, I totally forgot. We were talking about Chat GPT in the breakout room. And I asked it to write me a short poem about DB2. I totally forgot I was going to tell it to you. So here it is really quick. It's in databases, great and small. There's one that stands above them all. With power and speed, it reigns supreme. DB2, the king of data streams.
Oh!
From mainframes to the cloud, its performance is always proud. It stores and manages with ease all the information that we need. Reliability is its middle name, and security its constant aim. For business big and small, DB2 is the one to call. So let us sing its praise true and give DB2 its rightful due. For in this world of databases bright, DB2 shines with unmatched light.
Wow. Now I
Yep.
wonder if you feed it Oracle database, if it writes the same poem.
Okay, let's see.
So that will be, I mean, like maybe they have the same like set of template and they just,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
It would help if I typed.
And then it probably instead of IBM mainframe, it would pick something else in place of that. Wow. It's interesting how it does it. Amka, do you have a question for me?
No, not really.
Okay, okay. Victor, how about you?
Like I said, midterm is due tonight, right?
Yes, both parts.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it a test and then hands-on?
Yes.
How many questions is the hands-on?
Hands-on, oh, it is, I think you have to create one table and write three
Two
inserts.
tables.
Oh, yeah, sorry, two tables and write
Two
insert.
tables, insert, a delete, and an update.
Yeah.
Pretty easy.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's easy then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a delete, we can just do the drop, right?
Yeah. No,
No, not delete the table.
Delete
What?
the records.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delete record, update record, insert records, and create two tables.
Okay.
So it definitely did not use the same template.
Oh,
So in
okay.
Oracle's realm of data grand, where tables, rows, and columns stand, queries flow like river stream to fetch the data of your dream. Stored procedures, triggers, and more provide the keys to unlock the door of data stored in tables tall, with indexes to retrieve it all. In Oracle's world of data bright, the database rules with all its might, ensuring that your data stays secure and fast day after day. It's pretty smart.
They are, yeah, it is pretty smart. It just, okay.
All right. I mean, I'm fine to look at. I mean, I don't know how you want to do this, but yeah, it's still not showing up.
Okay. Victor, do you have any questions? Otherwise, I have to look at Josh's midterm and I don't want anybody else to be looking at it.
Never mind. Can I just share my screen real quick?
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
I was having trouble with this query.
Create or replace balance due. Okay, run it and let's see what trouble you're having. Okay. It is customer number, not customers number. Yeah. Okay, now same deal. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Okay, cool.
You guys
No
have a good night.
problem. You too.
You too. Yeah, I ended up getting a 77 on it, which I'm not happy with at all because obviously that brings my grade down.
70
I don't know.
out of 300?
No.
Oh.
280 out of 360.
Oh,
So I
okay.
got a 77%.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead and share your screen. Let's
Sure. So here. If I click on this to like show me my,
Okay.
it just brings me this. That's all. No questions.
Okay, hold on a second, okay?
Okay.
Midterm exam. If you go to your grades, my grades.
Yep.
Okay. In the my grades, go down to midterm. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, click on that. it was okay. And now click on 280. Oh, it still
Same
takes you
thing.
there. And when you click OK, where does it takes you?
It just takes it away.
Uh,
I mean, it's nothing that has to be done tonight. I don't know.
maybe it is.
I thought I would have done better on it based on, because I looked up dang near every
Oh,
question.
you know what is the case? Because it is locked by due date. So when it expires, only then you
Oh,
can see. Hold on a second. Let me change that feature.
okay. I mean, if you want to leave it, you can. I don't care. I can wait till tomorrow.
Go ahead and click on it.
Okay. Okay. Yep. We're
There you
good
go.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the deal. You know, I set it up so that the answers are not exposed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing that.
No problem.
I'll go through this on my own. So,
Okay, cool.
all right. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Yep. See you tomorrow.